Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the corporate world. Today, we're diving into a Form 8K filing from Stellar Bancorp. It's not quite a supernova, but there are some interesting details about their investor presentation that might make you see stars or at least consider a different bank. Let's see if this bank is truly stellar or just another blip in the financial universe. This report is dated March 4, 2025. That's the date of the event they're reporting, in this case, their presentation at an investor conference. The company we are talking about is Stellar Bancorp, Inc. They're a bank holding company, meaning they own and control one or more banks. Think of them as the parent company of a banking family. They're based in Texas and publicly traded under the ticker symbol STEL on the New York Stock Exchange. Now let's get into the heart of the filing. Item 7.01 is all about Regulation FD disclosure. Regulation FD stands for Fair Disclosure, and it's a rule that says if a company shares important information with certain people, like analysts or investors, they have to share it with everyone else at the same time. This levels the playing field, so everyone gets the same information at the same time. In this case, Stellar Bancorp is sharing the investor presentation they gave at the 2025 RBC Capital Markets Global Financial Institutions Conference. Think of an investor presentation like a sales pitch to convince people to invest in the company. It usually includes information about the company's performance, strategy, and future plans. You can find this presentation as Exhibit 99.1 on the company's website. It is important to note that this information is not officially filed with the SEC in the same way as other reports. This means that the company is sharing it, but it's not necessarily subject to the same level of legal scrutiny. However, keep in mind it is still important information. Item 9.01 lists the exhibits attached to the report. In this case, we have the investor presentation itself, labeled as Exhibit 99.1. We also have the cover page interactive data file, which is a machine-readable version of the report. So, what does all of this mean? Basically, Stellar Bancorp gave a presentation to investors, and they're sharing that presentation with the public through this SEC filing. It's all part of keeping investors informed and complying with regulations. Now let's move to the actual investor presentation. The presentation starts with some standard disclaimers, reminding everyone that it contains forward-looking statements. These are basically predictions about the future, and the company is saying they might not come true. It's a way of protecting themselves from being sued if things don't go as planned. The presentation provides an overview of Stellar Bancorp. It highlights the merger that created the company, combining different banking institutions. They're now one of the largest banks in Texas. This gives them a bigger footprint and more resources to compete in the market. The presentation also talks about their Texas-focused strategy. This means they're concentrating their efforts on growing in Texas, which is a fast-growing state with a strong economy. It's all about knowing your market and focusing your resources where you can get the best return. Next, they dive into their financial performance. We're looking at loans held for investment, which make up a big part of their assets. It's important to understand the quality of these loans. Of course, deposits are the lifeblood of any bank, and it's essential to keep track of how much money people are entrusting to the bank. The presentation highlights their net interest margin, or NIM. This is the difference between the interest they earn on loans and the interest they pay on deposits. It's a key measure of profitability for banks. The presentation mentions that they want to build a high-performing commercial bank. This means they're focused on lending to businesses and providing other services to help them grow. Commercial banking can be more profitable than consumer banking, but it also comes with more risk. Capital deployment is about how they use their money to generate returns. It's about making smart investments and managing risk effectively. The investor presentation is about convincing people that Stellar Bancorp is a good investment. They highlight their strengths like their Texas focus, strong financial performance, and experienced management team. They're trying to paint a picture of a company that's well-positioned for growth and success. Now let's zoom out and consider the bigger picture. Stellar Bancorp operates in a competitive industry, facing challenges from larger national banks and smaller community banks. They need to differentiate themselves to stand out from the crowd. Their Texas focus could be a key advantage, but they also need to manage risk effectively and adapt to changing economic conditions. So what's my take on Stellar Bancorp? They seem to be on a solid path, focusing on a growing market and trying to build a strong commercial banking business. Their financial results look promising, with growing loans and deposits. Their net interest margin is healthy, which is a good sign. However, there are always risks to consider. The economy could slow down, which could hurt their loan portfolio. Interest rates could rise, which could squeeze their profit margins. Competition could intensify, which could make it harder to attract and retain customers. Overall, I would say Stellar Bancorp is a promising company with potential for growth. Their Texas focus and commercial banking strategy could pay off handsomely, but they need to manage risk effectively and adapt to changing market conditions. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to Corporate Decoder for more insights into the corporate world. Until next time.